Good morning. It is currently Tuesday, May 30th, 2023 at 8:11 in my locale. I am showered, I am shaved, I have been pulling some stuff together here. Today is travel day. It's time for me to go back to town. Have to get a few things, make sure things are good and groovy. I have to say that every time I go to town is the last time I want to go to town. It is kind of like I'm in a third world country and now I have to travel an hour for more people in a third world country. And I have to get things that are horribly inflated in price in order to survive, get as little as possible, get another hour back into a remote area in a third world country. I wonder how the people, in Central America must feel when they got to drive an hour to town for food and supplies. The flip side is, technically, I'm Indiana Jones. So there you go. All right, so let's move forward. We're going to go to our daily Zen poem. We have a new subscriber, so let's give them some props. Okay. Southeastern RV and Outdoor Living. Okay. How do I know these people? Well, they live next door to me for like 6 months. That is Nathan and Joanna and their cat Angel. So everybody wave at your screen. Good morning. Welcome aboard, as Captain Jack would say. Let's go to our daily Zen poem. This is going to be long, so hang tight. It's beautiful, a little long. Number 1. Study and practice the Buddha Dharma only for the sake of the Buddha Dharma and not for the sake of emotions or worldly ideas. You do it because it is. Zazen is our truest and most venerable teacher. Okay, so this is Zen. Okay, this is more toward Japanese. This is Zen. Okay, this is Zazen. This is not something else. Zazen must work concretely in our daily lives as the two practices, vows and repentance, the three minds, the magnanimous mind, the nurturing mind, and the joyful mind, and the realization of the saying, gaining is delusion, losing is enlightenment. Interesting. Live by vow and root it deeply. I would say be careful to whom or to what you promise anything. Remember what happened to me. I made a promise to somebody so much that I actually did the wrong thing for money and hurt myself because I loved somebody so much. And their response was, I can't believe you were right and got hurt, not, oh my God, I'm so sorry you're hurt. Realizing that development and backsliding are your responsibility alone, endeavor to practice and develop. Yes. If you're not lifting weights, if you're not meditating every day, if you're not working the resistance bands, it's your responsibility. You and you alone. You're managing your efforts, your energies, and your time. It's you, not anybody else. There's no excuses. You. You could have gotten up earlier, could have stayed up later, you could have done any number of things. You. The biggest problem we have today in this failed society is the concept of personal responsibility. And if you didn't see that coming, Ray Charles saw that coming. Sit silently for 10 years, and then for 10 years more, and then for another 10 years. I think that's allegorical or metaphorical. I don't think that's literal. Cooperate with one another and aim to create a place where sincere practitioners can practice without trouble. Let that one just sit around for a minute. Small groups. Your tribe. A safe and encouraging place to learn and develop. You should be able to ask a thoughtful question without being called an ist or an ism or any other number of names. You're asking. One more time for the new kids in the crowd. common sense, thoughtful questions, critical thinking. These are superpowers now. I have plenty of people around me and have been in the past around me who ask questions for attention, which to me says, I'm sorry mom didn't hug you and pack you a tuna fish sandwich. If you ask a question to learn, now that becomes a different story. You're trying to grow your own education, and you are responsible for your own education. All right. That is a very deep, deep, deep poem, and it's beautiful. I'm sorry, it is by Uchanama Roshi, a lecture in 1975. So, for those, many of you were not alive in 1975. Some of you were, so let that sink in. I won't tell you. I will tell you I was alive in 1975, but I won't tell you where I was. I will give you an answer. I could operate a fork, knife, and a spoon, and I was at the beginning of my education. So we're going to go to our daily rune pull. Isa, the ice rune, the rune of standstill. We haven't pulled that one in a while, so let's take a look at it. The winter of your spiritual life is upon you. You may find yourself entangled in a situation whose implications of you are blind. You are powerless to do anything except submit, surrender, and sacrifice a long-cherished desire. Be patient. This is a period of gestation that precedes a rebirth. You may not get positive accomplishment. Now, the last couple of weeks, all of our runes have been going, go, go, go. You're going to win. You're going to learn something. You're going to achieve. Now it's saying, whoa, things are going to get a little slow. Okay, you can hold on to something and it results in shallowness of feeling, a sense of being out of touch with life. Discover what you are holding on to that keeps this condition in effect and let it go. Now, that speaks to me, okay? It should speak to you. There's got to be something that I know what I am holding on to that I refuse to let go. It is, metaphorically, it is my teddy bear, and you're never going to rip it out of my hands because I am waiting for someone to mentally get well. And I'm waiting for somebody whose kindness was weaponized to go, oh, crap. Not looking for, he was right. What I'm looking for is, that was right. So there you go. Usually you have to sacrifice the personal, the I. Do not be anxious, for submit and be still. You are experiencing not necessarily a result of your actions or habits, but of the conditions of the time against which you can do nothing. Last time I put my periscope up here in the carry-on and took a look at the world, I did. And I got to go to town today, which is why everything's kind of crazy. Okay. Yeah. We're screwed. And the only way to unscrew it is to stop participating in that particular system. You got to get out of it. And whether we created it by our actions or our inactions is now no longer of value. The only thing we can truly say is that it's screwed. And there really is no way of fixing it. I personally would rather treat it like when I worked on computers all those years ago and say, have you tried to turn it off and on again? That usually clears up a lot of crap. But, sorry about the air conditioner, but we'll know later on. We cannot have friendly support in your isolation. You must exercise caution and do not stubbornly persist in attempting to work your will. Okay? They say that the way of heaven is to surrender, is to display courage and wisdom. Alright, I'm not a big guy on this. Okay, I believe very much in the choose your own adventure path. I believe very much that my world, my time, my energy is shaped by what I choose to do. I'm not good with the go with the flow guy. We've had this conversation a number of times. Go with the flow. Dead stuff goes with the flow. Dead wood, dead fish. No. I would rather paddle upstream like a son of a gun rather than go with the flow. Understanding the power of water as a metaphor and understanding when you have to float, when you have to paddle is the most important thing. It actually sounded like a philosopher there for a second, and I'm an idiot. Knowing when to float and when to paddle is the most important thing because you cannot change the river. We're going to read a little book. And our little book says, hang on. Oh, I like this. Simulated chaos is given birth from control. The illusion of fear is given birth from courage. Feigned weakness is given birth from strength. Order and disorder are a question of numbers. Courage and fear are a question of the strategic configuration of power. Strength and weakness are a question of the deployment of forces. Thus, one who excels at moving the enemy deploys in a configuration to which the enemy must respond. He offers something that the enemy must seize. With profit, he moves through them, and the foundation, he awaits them. Well, before we put all of this information together, we have to do one thing. The obligatory case overview. He sees somebody outside. Anything you want to say, big guy? Tell the nice people. Small snort, which means he needs breakfast. Big snort, which means he agrees that he needs breakfast. All right, it's coming. I got it on the counter. All right, so let's bring it all together today. Our poem, what does that tell us? Practice for its sake. Okay. The understanding of the universe is our great teacher. We have to let this great teaching work very concretely in our lives. We have to live by our own personal promises to ourselves and to how we conduct ourselves. We must follow these and we can't deviate from them. We must learn to be quiet instead of dyeing our hair purple and screaming nonsense, for example. Instead, sit quietly and go, what's going on here? Let's just take a look at that, right? Sorry about that. And then, of course, the most important part of that, cooperation with tribe, and find a place where they can live without trouble. That's the one that speaks to me. That's my job, says Uncle John. That's my job. I have to find the place, our own personal array, for lack of better terms. And if you understand that, then you're definitely on my team. Where we can live, grow, develop, raise children without interference or trouble, and go back to a more basic structure of education and understanding. Rune says, today's not going to be the day you're going to gain anything. Okay, I have to go. I have to travel. Will I get what I need? Who knows? I just know that I got a list right here in the pocket. And once I got over 10 items, I said, yeah, you got to go. But whatever you're trying to achieve today might be a day where there's going to be a holdup. You may not be able to get where you're going. Doesn't mean don't put forth the effort. Don't throw up your hands and say, I give up. It just means you may not get to where you're trying to get. The effort and the energy is the most important thing, not, at this point today, the goal. And the book tells us, when people say, strength comes from people thinking you're weak. Okay. It's basically, this whole thing is basically a deception end. It really is just saying the same thing. It's saying if people think you are weak, you're really strong. If you say that you're out of supplies, you better be full up. The idea behind it is that their perception is not your reality, because you don't want them to understand your reality, because they're not your friends. They're not your tribe. They're not on your team. So you want them to think the different thing, than what is standing. Let them think you are tired or weak or broken or don't have anything or whatever it happens to mean in that moment for you, because you constantly are surrounded by the enemy, and the one thing you want your enemy to do is to underestimate you. That is the most important piece of the strategy brought to us from well over 1,000 years ago. Come here. So on that note, what we're going to do is we're going to showcase it again. We're going to get ready to go. Like I said, I've got this timed out. If I leave at 9, yes, I know. That means that the first place I have to go, which is the furthest point on the curve, will be open at 10. So I am timing it, just trying to time it to the moment, making sure we got everything good. I know. Good and groovy. We did talk about this. Okay, and I will, after I encode this video, I will talk about this. There will be a live stream tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So once this video encodes, I'm going to go over to StreamYard. I'm going to set it up as an upcoming, and then we are going to have some fun. I think the topic, I'm not sure what the topic's going to be. I think I might do what I did before because it made it a lot of fun. First person in the room gets to pick the subject, and then we just roll on from there. Last time we did it, it became what? It became you pick the subject and then an ask me anything. But I won't keep it more than an hour or so because I realize people have valuable time. And that's the most important thing we want to, that's the thing we want to make sure we understand is of high value. You're going to be spending time with us, and we want to make sure that it is the highest value to you. So what I'm going to do is take this video down. I'm going to re-encode it. I'm going to set it up, and then I'm going to set StreamYard up for an upcoming. And while I'm doing all of that, feed this guy and unhook to go. Remember what happened the last time? My driving video was sideways, even though the camera said it was straight. So we're going to practice a little bit today, trying to make smaller videos to make sure that the camera auto rotates correctly, because I know all of you love my driving videos. I don't know why, but I do. So, okay, Queso and I are out. We will see you later, right? Wave at him. Waving. There you go. And thank you to our new subscribers, Nate and Joanna. Thanks, guys. See you in a bit.